Hello, all my photography friends out there. I wanted to show you a little bit more about my action set that you can purchase on my blog. It is about all I use anymore. My Photo by Emily color is become my signature, and I also do use my black and white quite often. Then vintage azure and soft color. Use the vintage azure for some of the older folks that I take, like this particular gal's senior portraits here. And then the soft and cozy I use quite a bit for kids. So I'm going to start with my color. This is the one that I use about 80% of the time on all my photos. I've got my action here in my button mode, so all I do is just push the button and then it runs. What I would suggest doing first is to go through each of these layers and click on and off and kind of see what they're doing to each of your, which each layer is doing. So this particular layer is given that dark color and a little bit of vignette. This color is obviously not doing anything because it's turned off here on this mask. This layer here is the folder that contains all of the Photo by Emily color action. And then these two layers up here are the darken and the lighten. These two layers are just optional layers that you can add a little bit of extra light or a little bit of extra dark. I use the dark more often than I do the light. One of the things that the color action does, it intensifies the color, which I just love, rich color. I don't particularly love it on skin. I think it makes the skin just a little bit orange, just a little bit too pink. So I've included this Photo by Emily Brighten layer to go in and brighten up those faces. So I'm going to push B for brush. That's the shortcut. I'm just going to zoom in here to her face just a little bit. It's at 40% opacity. I think I'm going to put it at 50 and then just kind of tap out a little bit of that color and it will just brighten it up too. Brighten up those eyes just a little bit. So let me show you the before and the after. So there's the before and there's the after. And just brightens her up just a little bit. So the focus comes right into her face. I think that's really pretty. Like I said, I use the darken a little bit more than I use the lighten. I use the darken for the vignettes. I love hand-painted vignettes. I know that there's actions that you can get that just add a vignette automatically. I really love hand-painted ones. At 50% opacity, I'm just going to kind of zigzag in here. And draw on some of this. And then I'm going to just enhance her natural shadow on her shirt just to give her a little bit more contrast right through here. I like that. Now with the lighten, I think I might just, there's some light back in here and at 20%, I'm just going to tap in just a little additional light in the light parts that are already back here just to give it a little bit more of a drama. I'm just doing this all by eye. I don't think there's necessarily any particular rule to this. And then I'll show you the before and after. So this is the after. This is the before and the after. So just gives it a lot of really beautiful contrast, increase that color, softens it up just a little bit. I just love that action. I want to show you how to now use the, let's use the black and white. See if I can get rid of these here. So I'll run the black and white action. Let it go for a second. That took a little longer than it usually takes, but and again, I would just go up and down this row and just kind of see what you're working with here, and see if you like that particular layer. This one here is the vignette, which is an automatic vignette, but it's light enough that I really like it. This is the define and sharpen. This is all the way off, so you're not going to see any difference on this until you paint it on. Here is the black and white. That's the layer that desaturates all the color out of your picture. This is your curve. This is what controls your contrast. We'll probably play with that a little bit. Then again, I've added that lighten and that darken so that you can go in and hand paint some lights and darks. So let's do the curve first on this adjustment layer. I'm just going to pull up these highlights just a little bit. I really like really contrasty black and whites. And then I'm going to pull down my shadows just a little bit and pull up my brights. And I'm just kind of looking at, there's no rule of thumb necessarily, just what I like. And that's about right for me. I'm going to go back into my layers and I'm going to go in and define and sharpen. This is a really neat mask. I'll get my brush here about the right size, and then it's only 20%, so I'm going to bring it up to 70. Just going to paint in some additional texture onto her shirt. And I'm going to bring it up to 100% because I really like a lot of texture on here. And then I'm just going to come into her face and just put a little bit more detail, just really sharpen up those eyes. Define and sharpen those eyes, and maybe just her lips just a little bit. I don't necessarily want to define and sharpen any of her skin because I want to leave it a little bit soft, but I may just want to rub some into her hair just a little bit. Makes it really pretty. Grab her earring. Let me show you the before and after on that. This is the before, and that's the after. So you can really see it in her hair and on her shirt. That's quite dramatic. I don't know if I'd go quite that dramatic on her hair. Might go back in and just reduce it just a little bit. Just bring it down just a little bit so that her hair looks smooth right in here. Let's try that. Yeah, that's really pretty. And then up in here, I'm just going to add, just like I did with the color, I'm going to add some vignette with my black. Oops, turn it back on. There we go. And again, with that natural contrast of her shirt, just so I can get some additional contrast. And then again, I'm going to go back in with this white lighten and just kind of dab it in this background a little bit, just because I think it just increases the contrast and that drama in this picture. Yeah, it's really pretty. I always zoom out for some reason. I always zoom out and look at the picture from far away because I just feel like I'm so close up into this picture that I forget what it looks like. So I'll zoom out. Looks like I'm just working on another collage there, but just to make sure that I'm on the right page here. And then this is the before and after of this particular image. That's really, really dramatic. I love that. Next, let's do the Vintage Azure. I find the Vintage Azure really easy to work with. So we'll just push this button here, and it's done. It goes really fast. Again, we're just going to see what each of these layers is doing. That partial desaturation. At my screen level here. I actually like it a little bit less. So I think I'm going to take this entire layer, and I'm just going to bring down the opacity. It's only at 40. So I'm just going to bring it down to like 20 or so, just whatever, yeah, right around in there. It looks really nice. And then this Vintage Azure right here, this is giving it, I like it about right there. That looks really cool. And then this curve really changes it a lot. I like it on. One thing that I do with this Vintage Azure a lot is I'll reduce the opacity of the entire action. I just find it a little bit harsh. It looks really great if you've got, you know, a picture up against a barn wall or you know, something really rustic. But for this kind of prettier picture of her, I like it just a little bit less strong. So I'm just going to take the entire action, which is this folder, everything included in that action. I'm just going to take the opacity down just a little bit, just so that it's not quite so dramatic. About there. And that looks nice for me, so I'm just going to show you the before and after. So that's before and the after. Have a really different, cool look. Use this a lot on high school seniors. I use it a lot during bridal sessions, especially if they're doing, you know, like I said, like the barn walls and old rustic look. It's really beautiful for that. Okay, the last action is my soft and cozy, and again, this is one of the easier actions to work with. Just push to run that action here. Takes a little minute to run. Okay, and there's the soft and cozy. It's really soft. So again, like I said, I would just go through each layer and kind of see what it's doing. This is the vignette, which I really like. It's just really soft. And then this is the slight contrast. Just gives it just a slight contrast. This is the curve. Ooh, I really like that a lot, so I'm going to leave that. And then the soft color. So the only one that I really didn't love this strong is probably the slight contrast. And I like it, I just don't like it maybe quite as strong. So I'm going to take that entire layer, highlight that entire layer, and then go up to the opacity and reduce the opacity of that particular layer. That looks much better to me. It's a little bit soft, but it still gives that nice punch of contrast. So I think I'd leave it right there. And that is, here's the before and here's the after, which is really soft and pretty. I use this a lot on kids, studio sessions. I use this a lot on, but again, my signature is my Photo by Emily color. That's my favorite. So I hope that you learned a lot, and good luck and happy photoshopping.